have a question, Olivia, after Dennis.
We talk about human resource and availability of jobs. I reckon if you just use the statistics that we do have in terms of the numbers of clinical, health workers that we need vis-a-vis the population, that itself is a job opening because it speaks to the unavailability of requisite numbers of health professionals that are needed in our hospitals to offer that service. One then proceeds further to ask the question where it is devolved, but funds have not followed the function. Is there political goodwill to address health concerns in the country, especially when you talk about human resource?
You see, the goodwill might be there, but government structure might hinder the goodwill. Mm-hmm. For example, you have seen the universal health coverage staff. National government in her own wisdom realized that there's great shortage at the county government's level, and they were not willing to apportion money to hire. Mm-hmm. So during COVID-19, the government decided to do support to the counties by employing these about 8,700 healthcare workers. When it comes to now transiting them to contract to permanent and pensionable, it has been a very serious issue. We have worked so hard to ensure that money is allocated. Mm-hmm. The current CS for Health, Eden Dwale, has done a very wonderful job, because when he came in the ministry, we worked closely with him to ensure that 8.6 billion was allocated for these people to be put on permanent pension. But as we're talking today, money has been allocated. These health workers have not been given letters of permanent and pensionable. Honorable Eden Dwale has proceeded to change their payslip to read permanent and pensionable. Yet they don't have letters. So there's no goodwill.
Is that constitutional for him to do?
I don't know whether it's constitutional or not.
Okay, it's not.
It is not. Illegal. It is illegal. It is an illegality.
Well, as a worker, as a leader of the worker, what is benefit my worker, I don't care whether it's legal. But that's where we say the end charge.
But you should.
You should.
Oh, come on.
When it comes to my member benefiting, the end will justify the means.
But you know what happens? I'm sorry that we have to hold on to that point.
All right.
What happens is that you now put somebody in a state whereby, okay, they're receiving the money and that's great, but then in the future, if somebody comes in that's not Eden Dwale or Seth Panyako, what happens to that person when they come and they say, okay, that's fantastic, but it is not documented, so how are we going to continue? What do you do to development? You cut it short.
I clearly agree with you.
Yeah.
And that is why we're on strike. It's one of the main reasons why we're on strike, because they have to transit to permanent pensionable for them to have security of job, so that even when they are working, they are sure that they'll get salary at the end of the month, and they're assured if they don't make mistakes in the line of duty, they will retire at the age of 60. They can plan for their life, and then they're assured that when they retire, they have a proper pension scheme to keep them going in retirement. That's what we are fighting for. Now they have a pension scheme. They have now medical cover, and to me, that's very good. Now, I'm saying this because there's another example I want to give, where maybe legislation is not working with the executive.
Okay.
We were promised hiring of 5,000 nurses in this financial year, only to realize that the money was not allocated. So advertisement have not been made. And again, it's being done by the national government on realization that the county governments are not hiring enough to keep to the pace of the nursing shortage, so that they meet the universal health coverage, because human resources is key. And so when I spoke to the minister, he said they are going to have it done in supplemental budget. Yet, this proposal to hire 5,000 nurses was there. So the person who is in charge of the Commission of Revenue Allocation and the Parliament should have looked in this issue and allocated money. But if we had the Health Service Commission centrally placed to look at the human resource aspect of healthcare workers, this will be done, because that will be their work. The way the Teacher Service Commission ensures that money is allocated for promotion, money is allocated for hiring new teachers, and that's why teachers have been hired more than even the police, more than the army. It is only in the teachers where they have hired more than 100,000 workers, where they hired more than 100,000 in 1 year. It has never happened in Kenya. And therefore, we centrally managing healthcare workers is very important. But I want to say, in terms of welfare for the workers, we will not talk about health workers alone, because we don't work alone. There are other departments that make sure that the health system functions. County government have issues payment of salaries. Some of the counties have not even paid salaries for 3 months up to now. And my thinking will be like, we ring-fence the issue of salaries, so that we have, from this salary can be deducted from the source and goes direct to the workers. They deduct money for bank loans, they don't remit. They deduct money for pension, they don't remit. They deduct money for union dues, they don't remit. So you realize that if this is done at the source, we have gone on strikes after, by the way, health is not a devolved function. It's a shared function. I think this is a mistake that people are making. And the moment you continue making this mistake, you know who you are shielding? I come to you. And you say the money has not followed the function. Because you have made this thing called health as a devolved function to be the plain truth when it's a lie. Health is a shared function. And in a shared function, there's responsibility of ensuring that that function continues to operate optimally, remains with the national government. And therefore, health being a shared function. And that is why national government, knowing that it's a shared function and the responsibility remains with them, that's why they hired UHC staff. That's why they want to hire 5,000 nurses.
To fill
they
the gap.
know it.
To fill the gap that they should be filling by hiring people.
So please, let us not talk about health as a devolved function. We have devolved functions like agriculture that are 100% went to the counties, water. But when it comes to health, we have the national referral health facilities.